What's goody? It's your host J Rose as always, and I feel like the NBA media is just really bad right now. I'm not sure how organized this video is going to be, but there's just a lot of stuff that I just really need to talk about because the way that people are talking about the NBA and talking about basketball right now sucks. Let's get into it. Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. First and foremost, I want to talk about the people who get paid to talk about basketball and what their contributions have been these past couple of years. And I do want to start with Inside the NBA on TNT because I feel like that's really the most notable basketball show most people know. They know Shaq, Kenny, Chuck, and Ernie. And I don't think that show is doing very good in progressing the game and marketing our players and speaking well about the game. Like, I really just don't think it does that. The two main culprits would be Shaq and Chuck. Honestly speaking, I don't think Ernie and Kenny do too bad. I really don't, especially Kenny. I like his analysis of the game. I like when he runs to the board and he points out plays and little intricate details like most people wouldn't notice. I think Ernie also has some decent takes, and I just think that Chuck and Shaq are just all over the place, really. I want to start with Shaq. Shaq probably was the bigger of two evils at one point, but right now it's definitely Chuck. Shaq is just a hater. Shaq is a big hater. I've seen him hate on many different players. If you're a big man and you're decent, Shaq is probably going to tear you down to some degree.
This guy is one of the best. Awesome. No, he ain't one of. Stop it. He's one of the best. Hey, the guy's a. Hey, stop it. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's one. Shout out to you.
I seen it happen with Embiid.
Has a little band-aid on his little hand. He wants the ref to call the foul. The ref don't call the foul, so he run back on defense like a little baby, and then you let this guy score on you. A little harsh.
I seen it happen a little with Giannis. I seen it happen with, obviously, Dwight Howard. That's the big one.
Lakers just signed Dwight Howard. How do you feel about that?
Who?
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard has one or two moves on the block. His one move is to run and jump hook, and the other move is to pick and roll, get it slam. And Andrew Bynum has the right jump hook and the left jump hook. He's a true big man.
I seen it happen with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell had a great game. He closed it out. They win the game. And in the post-conference presser, Shaq goes, "You're not a superstar."
You are one of my favorite players, but you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I said it on purpose. I wanted you to hear it. What do you have to say about that?
All right. That's it.
That's it?
All right. That's it.
And I want you to think of this from a perspective of somebody who maybe just started watching basketball and doesn't know that Donovan Mitchell literally is a superstar. You go and watch Shaquille O'Neal, one of the greats of the game, look at Donovan Mitchell and go, yeah, that's not your body, guy. It's not your body. Why is that necessary? Just unnecessarily tearing down great players. I'm not understanding it. And Chuck, oh boy. Chuck, I'm very convinced that Charles Barkley does not watch the game. I do not think Charles Barkley routinely watches basketball. Charles Barkley is also just as much of a hater as Shaq, but he's just bitter about basketball in general and not specific players. It kind of feels like he hates everything, and I'm very lost. It's just not good for the game. Being overly and hypercritical of basketball as a whole, it's not good for the game. Spewing things that are not true, like the Lakers just lost to the Mavericks. Really bad loss. LeBron had a highlight dunk. Chuck goes, "It was a cool highlight, but we didn't have to show it that many times."
It must have been a beautiful play. We showed it 22 times.
You don't think that play was worth it?
Not 22 times.
Hey, we got a bunch of 40-year-olds in here. None of them are doing that.
No,
You dunk like that?
You spam highlights. That's what y'all do. Like, highlights go on in the game. Post game, you show the highlights. Like, that's what happens. That was the key play from the game. Even though they did lose, it was a crazy moment from Bron. Why are we going out of our way to try to tear that down? Then after that, the Lakers suck. It's a bunch of losers. They're not great. For a team that's fighting for a top playoff spot right now, by the way.
And the Lakers proved to what I keep saying. The Lakers stink, plain and simple. We have to talk about them because the media is infatuated with the Lakers. But the Lakers are not a good team.
And I don't think the Lakers are the best team in the West by any means, but acting like they suck and they're not competing every single night and they don't have over 20 wins, which is almost like that's fighting for top seed territory right now in the Western Conference. It's very competitive. So I'm just like, why are we doing this?
If I'm a casual fan and you tell me every time I turn on the television that the product sucks, well, I'm not going to watch the product. That's really what has happened. over the last 10 to 15 years. We don't have anybody that's willing to step up to the fact that this is an awesome game and we should talk about it and celebrate it in a positive way.
There was one more announcer that absolutely blew my mind. Like, he was talking about how Trey Young this season, he turned himself into a passer. He's been way more pass first this season than he's ever been, and wanting to get his teammates involved. And that just blew my mind because, brother, if you know anything about Trey Young besides his name, you know he's a playmaker.
One thing I've noticed about you this year as well is you love passing the ball now. You had 20 assists last night. What was it maybe about the offseason coming into this season that made you really want to hone in on being a guy that throws assists?
Oh, Matt, I've always been a guy that loves to pass. So saying something new. I mean, if you look back, I've always been pretty high in assists. I mean, this year's just being able to be number one. It stands out more.
You know that. He's been like second in assists per game almost every single year. It just so happens that this year he's first. But he's literally thrown 8, 9, 10 assists every season. There's no shot that you ask Trey Young to his face, what did he do in the offseason to make him want to pass more when he's always played like this? Like, there's no way. His player comp coming out of college was Steph Curry and Steve Nash. And a lot of people were like, I don't even see the Steph Curry. And we talking about, oh, what made you want to pass this offseason? Are we serious? Are we dead serious? Like, can we be for real? Come on, man. Like, that's really bad. That's really, really bad. I'm sorry. You don't even know how this player plays to be interviewing him. You get paid to talk about hoops. We need to get new faces in there. I'm sorry. And I feel like maybe I'm being critical of these guys, but if they can be as critical of basketball and as critical of the players when they don't do their job or they don't do as well as they perceive, I think it's fair for me to criticize these guys for their job when they're not doing as well as I perceive. Because to be honest, that's a big reason why the perception around the NBA is so bad. And that's really why I like JJ Redick as a broadcaster so much, because he knew the nuances of today's game. Not the 90s game, not the early 2000s game, not the early 2010s game. The 2015 and after into the 2020s basketball analysis is what we're looking for in the year 2025. I don't want to hear you talk about how the 90s were so much more physical and this and that and the third. Can we talk about the games in front of us? Can we talk about the players in front of us? Can we talk about the league in front of us instead of tearing down all the players and tearing down the league? It makes absolutely no sense to be doing that if that's your job, to be talking about basketball. Why are we so stuck on the past and not giving our players any flowers at all? I don't understand. It's bad work. I remember last year in the finals, Luka was the best player on the court by far. Out of anybody that touched that court, Luka was the best player on the court. And they went out of their way to shit talk Luka. And it really, you can see it go into social media. Look, tonight is going to be a movie. And it's the two top seeds, the Thunder versus the Cavs. Great game. As you can see, I said NBA fans fucking suck. Wow. Because look at this. Literally nobody cares about this game. LMAO. I'm not even hating when I say this, but we are not tuning in. Nobody's watching that. Like, yeah, more posts about these teams and less posts about the Lakers and Warriors, please. And I think this is the best comment here. Another one. Won't even look at the score. NBA fans, it was a little funny joke before to shit on the league and these new top teams that didn't have Bron and Steph on them. But we're getting to the point where those guys are quite literally fizzling out. They're not at the top of the conference. They're not favorites to win championships. They're not. We literally have players and teams that are better than the Warriors, Lakers, and don't even get me started on the Suns because they literally suck. I like how everybody consciously says, oh, the league is going to be in danger when LeBron and Steph and KD leave. And then we actively still shit on the new stars. I'm a Mavs fan and I'm a Luka fan. I enjoy watching rival teams' players. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the smoothest players I've ever seen. He really does give me Kobe Bryant vibes. Anthony Edwards, eccentric player. I love watching him play. There's so many players that it's just like they're so good at basketball, and if you really like basketball, you're gonna enjoy watching them play. And all of the complaints and tearing all these players down and this, that, and third, it's just so corny. I'm critical. I'm a critical guy. You know, I love to give my think pieces on why players aren't doing well or why teams aren't doing well and what they should do going forward or whatever. But I'm still going to be doing that, but I'm going to make sure I go out of my way to talk positively about the game of basketball, because there's just not a lot of people doing that. And I think that's really what the game needs right now. It's just some positive press. I'm so jealous of NFL fans. They do not have this problem. They really don't. As a 40-year-old legend that's still playing at a high level, like Tom Brady didn't get this treatment. Tom Brady did win a ring. I mean, yeah, he won a Super Bowl, like his second to last season or whatever. But shoot, LeBron got a championship in the 2020s. He won his last chip at like 35, 36. A lot of the basketball TV shows aren't that good compared to the NFL TV shows. Just talking about the sport. I think we need a change. We need some 2010s guys in the mix now. I'm really, really sad Kobe died. That would have been a perfect addition. I'm kind of sad JJ Redick won a coach, because that would have been perfect. I already know that Dirk and Blake Griffin are going to be on Amazon's show. I love that. But we need more of that. We need more of that. I like VC. I like Jamal Crawford when he gets on there. I like Jay Williams even, and Jay Williams I feel like is also a little older, but he gives pretty good takes in my opinion as well. We just need more guys like that, to be honest. More newer guys that really understand the nuance of today's game and want to big up today's stars and give the NBA positive press, because there's just a lot of NBA shows that aren't doing that. The biggest NBA show is not doing that. So hopefully that can get fixed soon, and this is not like a lingering issue, because I feel like the NBA is going to be on a downward trot if this continues. And I love basketball, so I hope that don't happen. I'll catch y'all on the next one.